pipeline.
Joseph Elliott Prune. Of course I'm going.
On this channel, I like to hop into my raggedy, imaginary, torn axle DeLorean time machine and review movies from the past. Films that are celebrating a milestone in years. But in this video, I will do something totally different. Instead of one movie, how about the whole year? That year being 2015. I mean, 2015 seems like it was just 3 years ago. But it's 10 years ago, of course. And my, how time flies when you're having fun, they say. 2020 was not fun. 2015 was a rather wild year in film. 3 once famous, somewhat held high in standards, decided to resurrect themselves after years of sleeping. Blockbuster franchises that won't quit, sequels and more sequels. According to Richard Brody of The New Yorker, he described 2015 as one of Hollywood's worst years, but also said it was a terrific year for movies overall. Okay? Called 2015 blandly enjoyable to disastrous, mainly because the absence of the best American directors working. No Scorsese films, no Soderbergh films, absolutely nothing. But what we was given in 2015 were gifted theme park films that year. And I'm not kidding. Like, look at the list of films released in 2015. And you would think it was going to Disney World or Universal Studios. Out of the top 10 highest grossing films of that year, 6 of the 10 films were from either Universal or Disney. The others being Sony, Paramount, and Lionsgate in the former 20th Century Fox. Warner Brothers, they did release new films that year, but none of them cracked top 10. Not until the year after. But looking back, they're all blockbusters all around. Blockbuster sequels, I might add. Now you got The Rat and Marvel released 2 films that year. Avengers: Age of Ultron, a film that seems to have everyone in it going through the motions. A film was just a stepping stone to the next film, and in my humble opinion, a rather bland film. Oh, a killer robot that wants to destroy humans. Oh, a human trying to use AI for the greater good. Well, there'll be another film similar to this later. Oh, the original Age of Ultron storyline was nothing close to what we saw in film. I was deeply disappointed, but I knew deep down there was going to be no X-Men in this. But anyways, neither is Ultron's creator Tony Stark or Bruce Banner. It was Hank Pym. He would get his film debut in Ant-Man, but that Ant-Man would be Scott Lang, not Hank Pym. Don't get me wrong, the Paul Rudd, he wasn't bad, but that movie was bland, like seasonless chicken. Yeah, Ant-Man was just boring to me. It was just alright. But speaking of superhero films, there was a Fantastic Four film. Wow. 10 years later and getting another one. But a reboot that was laughable and should never be spoken about again. Nothing from DC this year. It was too busy playing catch up. Actually, it was gathering the troops for Batman vs. Superman. Marvel became the first franchise to reach 9 billion. Which is really all shocking when releasing films every year that have people going gaga for them. And then it was the sequels. Next chapter, please. Sequels everywhere. Furious 7, the newest addition to the Fast and Furious franchise, a franchise that would make Michael Myers proud. It won't die. It just won't die. But this film did have a sour note to it surrounding what happened to Paul Walker, earning the 3rd highest grossing film of 2015 worldwide, 5th in America. And Disney was top dog at the box office. They were so lucky that George Lucas was stupid enough to sell them that franchise. More about that later. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was another sequel. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Taken 3. Hot Tub Time Machine 2. Insidious Chapter 3. Ted 2. Magic Mike Triple XL. Hotel Transylvania 2. Maze Runner. Pitch Perfect 2. Minions. Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension. The Divergent series were all the sequels that were released that year. Who even watches the Divergent series? Teeny boppers. Oh yeah, I forgot there was also another big time sequel that year. There was a Bond film that was a sequel. Spectre. Yes, having James Bond and Blofeld as brothers was a weird plot choice. I don't know who decided. Yeah, whatever. It's a thing. It's past. But there was plenty of films that were decent that were sequels and tied to a franchise. The modern horror classic It Follows, a biopic straight out of Compton. Now, it was not the most accurate biopic to a T, but straight out of Compton, it was very enjoyable if you was a hip-hop fan or a fan of West Coast rap. The Martian, Krampus, Boneham Tomahawk. The Revenant gave DiCaprio his first Oscar, and all he had to do was fight a bear and get beat up by a bear. Kingsman: The Secret Service. Focus, a film that may or may have not ruined Will Smith, but that's another story for another day. Ex Machina, another film about a robot turning on its creator. Black Mass wasn't that bad. Bride, Bridge of Spies. Dope wasn't that bad. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was Henry Cavill's audition for the James Bond role, something that Barbara Broccoli needs to get him already, but from what I've been hearing about that, anyways, Concussion. Will Smith did not do a bad job on that. Put the NFL on notice regarding concussions, changed a few rules around. The Big Short is another one, and there was many more, but there was also some stinkers. Next chapter. The stinkers, the farters. San Andreas. And yes, The Rock plays the same type of character every movie. And this film was bad on the eyes, just too much CGI destruction. Crimson Peak, amazing Universal Studios was better that year. I can never get through that movie. Anyways, and how can I forget the film that gave Brie Larson her annoying ass ego the rule? Now that film wasn't, I guess, according to critics, bad, but she's bad. And where has Brie Larson been at anyway? Pretty quiet since Captain Marvel. The Marvels didn't do so good, so she should shut her ass up. Probably a good thing. But there's also a couple films I did not mention. 2015 was also known as the resurrection of the great franchises of the past. Next chapter. Great franchises of the past. Those franchises would be Rocky, Terminator, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and Mad Max. Well, that means Stallone, The Arnold, Mr. Ford, and Mel Gibson are coming back. Well, yes and no. Rocky came back into the fold, producing a spin-off starring Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed, Apollo Creed's son. But there was Stallone helping training his former rivals turned friend's son in a boxing course. And we got 3 movies out of this now. Jurassic Park. Well, Jurassic Park sat around for almost 14 years trying to figure out how they should move the franchise forward, and Universal had none of the clue on what they should do. Human dinosaurs? Nah. Bring back Lex and Tim? Nah. Bring back Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm? Nah. Many producers, writers, directors left the project for other Universal stuff or other studio stuff, but Universal finally got their brain together and relaunched the franchise, calling it Jurassic World. Since the name used to Jurassic Park went back to the Cretan. Is it Cretan or Crichton? It's Crichton. Why did I say Cretan? They went back to the Crichton estate. Once I saw that film, I got out my rose-colored nostalgia glasses. The film was subpar, but not terrible. It's more than what I could say for the sequels. A camouflaged I-Rex. Raptors that can listen to human commands, and a T-Rex that becomes a minor equivalent to Godzilla. Yeah, Universal went too far with this one. Dinosaurs playing superhero and have a Deus Ex Machina moments. I remember when this franchise was scary. Let's see what they can do later this year. Terminator, Geonosis, Genesis, Hennessy. I don't know what the name of it is anymore. I don't know why they put a Y in it. They're trying to be cute. But the return of the Arnold in that role that gave him supreme clout and fame. Not a continuation of Terminator 3, but another retooling or relaunch. It failed. The only thing I liked about it, I guess, that did something different was the Arnold did not die in Emilia Clarke. A role that didn't fit her at all, but I like seeing her. And I guess it's one step above the Terminator Dark Fate, but that's not really saying too much now, is it? Mad Max, no Mel Gibson, but you get Tom Hardy. Fresh off Bane from Dark Knight Rises 3 years before. But anyways, he was working hard this year, actually. I think he had 3 films: The Revenant, Legend, a film that gives us me. But I like the new Mad Max that came out here, Fury Road. I like this. It was the highest grossing film in that series, but produced low at the box office, but won numerous awards at the Oscar, and has been called one of the greatest action films of all time, the best films of the 2010s. I can't really argue with that. And now, for the finale. And for the final franchise. Oh God. The franchise that put so many YouTubers on the front page, made so many YouTubers money, turning some of these YouTubers almost into household names in the nerd world, of course. Put a threat into the mainstream media. Put a threat into Disney. The once great franchise that everyone went to the movies theater with glee, somewhat. The franchise that was held with so much high esteem. And we get Star Wars The Force Awakens. Do I really need to go on with this one? Now, this film wasn't the film that broke the camel's back. That would be the sequel 2 years later that broke this franchise's back. But this film was, sure enough, the start of it. As I speak slowly about it, pain, and more pain, and more pain, and more pain, tears, weird blue hair whack jobs crying because the mainstay fans of this franchise did not like the product. The infighting, the wars online, the war of worlds, the Librites ruining this once great franchise, turning Luke Skywalker into a sassy bum, turning it's not her fault, but turning an actress into a joke, making her a joke. Her character was a joke. Trying to revive a franchise by bringing in the Emperor again.
First, somehow Palpatine returned.
How you do that?
You had horses riding on Star Destroyers. And one film. Not this one, of course. 4 years later.
How you do that?
In conclusion, and in my opinion, 2015 in film was probably one of the most heavy-packed years of film in a long time. You just got franchises just releasing films all over the place. Probably should call 2015 the theme park year of film because that was the content that was released. The only thing that was missing out of that year, and thank God this ain't gonna happen anytime soon. Hopefully it will never happen. There was no Jaws. Even though Back to the Future predicted another Jaws coming out in 2015, did it? Yeah, it did. But there was no Back to the Future. Thank God. And there was no Harry Potter because it was done till a year later. No, just joking. Jaws had its time in the sun. It really did. Plus, I think the Meg broke the killer shark film genre at this time. I don't think anything can top Jaws, at least the first one. It's hard to. No, you can't remake Jaws because everybody has done it already and failed. So no more. And Back to the Future should never, ever, ever be rebooted or retooled ever. This series is perfect as it is. This series has really no bad films. I know some people are sketchy about Back to the Future Part 3 because it was a Western. But you know what? I don't care. If I can watch all 3 movies smiling ear to ear, saying quotes, then I don't care. And I don't want Back to the Future to be walked to the plank with a Roscoe to his head, like Universal trotting out Jurassic Park films every year. Please, Universal, if you ever come across this video, please do not reboot Back to the Future. Don't do it. If you do it, I'm gonna come hunt you down. I know your address.
The pipeline. Joseph Elliott Cruz. Of course I'm going.